Hello, I'm Dell with Healing Frequencies Music, and this is the reintroduction to the Mountains, Gates, and Castles course. If you're seeing this, I did put up a video introducing it before I actually completed it. The course is now done and there's been a few changes. So I am redoing that video, and this is the video. So without further ado, we are going to share screen because I want to keep it short, sweet, and to the point. All righty, so I'm going to share almost my screen because I have to get rid of something first. Because when you open things, whoops, there we go. As you can see, it's a beautiful sunny day and the sun is shining in my face this way, so I'll try not to get it to glare on the glasses. All right, we are now ready to share screen. And you're going to get a look at the screen and not me. Oops. Get to see my, which one am I looking for? Here we go. Okay, so now we are going to start from the beginning. So this is the Mountains, Gates, and Castles, the introduction to the course. And I'm going to move me up over the top of this thing. All right, here we go. The lesson video for all of the lessons, there's going to be a PDF version of these PowerPoint presentations, and the link to the video will be on the next page or on the first page. It'll be page 1 or 2. And one of the things that I'm finding is personal experience leads the way. What I am showing you is what I have learned that works for me. It may work for some of you, and for others it may not. We all have different learning styles. We all prefer different ways to hear things. This is my way, and I can only teach you and show you how I worked through trauma in my life to bring healing physically and emotionally. So through my process of transforming mindsets, it took me a while to get there because, you know, I'd lived a long time and I'd spent a lot of my life forming mindsets. So we're not going to shift our mindsets overnight. But through my process of transforming mindsets, I learned how to function from the top of my personal mountain. And I'll explain that. We really learn great when we have pictorial things to look at, or we can get visuals. I mean, some people like looking at pieces of paper, so you get to look at this. And some people like listening, so you can listen while I'm talking. There's a variety of ways, and I hope I'm at least addressing 3 or 4, maybe 5 different learning styles as you listen to my presentation. I lived through an abusive marriage followed by losing my home to eminent domain. Those were 2 pretty traumatic things that really formed a lot of how I had to make some adjustments. And I'm basically going to share with you that process. And this is my latest book, Transforming Mindsets, which I put a link for in the end, and it'll be in this video below. I had to deal with emotional issues before physical healing could take place. I'd been to a lot of counseling. I'd been done through a lot of inner healing, and it only did so much. And I came out of all of that and I was still physically ill. Why? And it's going to be different for different people. This whole journey is what led me to creating Healing Frequencies Music. So now I'm sharing my journey with you. I had to realize that I was functioning from my soul rather than my spirit. And a lot of modern thinking is the soul is the governing body. Well, I'm going to show you why that's not really the most effective way to get healing, because and then to also step into wholeness. We'll get there. When I brought all 3 parts of my being into alignment, my spirit, my soul, and my body in that order, at that point is when I was healed from a 19-year illness. That is what is leading to this class. I call it Mountains, Gates, and Castles. So even when I say those words, you're getting a picture of a mountain, you're probably getting a picture of a gate, and you're probably getting a picture of a castle. So this is all about the use of your imagination. And we cannot lead someone where we haven't been ourselves. I tell people this all of the time. Every trauma, every life experience, every sickness is an opportunity. Notice I say it's an opportunity for us to learn something. We work through our emotional issues, we find physical healing as needed, and then show others how we did it. We learn best when there are examples to follow. On this journey, I had very few examples to follow, especially after leaving the abusive marriage. We all know about physical abuse, but spiritual abuse, emotional abuse, verbal abuse in the 1990s was not something people talked about. All I could find were books by counselors. To me, they weren't telling me their story. I wanted to hear stories of people who actually went through it and they were able to recover and lead healthy lives after that. That is why I'm doing this class, is so I can help people step into a wholeness journey for them. So what's in this class? You're going to learn to see yourself as one being, spirit, soul, and body, where you're functioning from a position of love. In this process, you find your identity. And you're going to learn how to put it all together and have some fun with it. And the class lessons are as follows. This introduction video you'll get a copy of the PDF with the link to this video. And lesson 1 is about your personal mountain and the throne of your life. So imagine the top of a mountain where there's a throne, and from that throne, you are governing every aspect of your life. Kings govern from thrones. So those are the visuals we're going to use. We all know what a king does. We all know what authority they have. So we're just taking this thought process and putting it to our personal lives. Lesson 2 is all about heart-brain coherence. The heart is a greater thinking organ than the brain, and scientists are now proving that. Lesson 3 is all about that perfect love, which sits at the very top of the mountain that your throne should sit in. Then we have what's called spirit gates. Then we have our soul gates. Then we have our body gates. And then we talk about the inner castle, which is the castle of your heart. And each lesson is, so all of these PowerPoint slides you're seeing will be in PDF format, and you can click on all the links. Imagination. Everything starts with the imagination. It's how you use it that determines what comes next. So if you're afraid of your imagination, don't be. Because if you're allowing icky stuff to come into the imagination, that's what's going to come out. You learn to ignore that stuff. Look for the good things. As children, we have vivid imaginations. What happened? Oh, you're just imagining that, mom or dad says. And they come up with these wild tales. We should never say that to kids. Honestly, that's what stifles us as adults, is when parents say to their kids, oh, that's just in your imagination. But they could be seeing in another realm and you don't realize it. We won't even go there. Our imagination is really the eyes of our heart when it's coming through intuition, because intuition and imagination work together. But intuition is in the spirit gate and imagination is in the soul gate. The best inventors, scientists, musicians, and forward-thinking people get their ideas through imaginative thought. Symbolism is a great method of exercising the imagination. And that's what we're using the mountain symbolism here, because you can see pictures of it. Many ancient texts, novels, and other writings use the imagination to paint a picture that moves a story forward. So what we're trying to do here is give you pictures, give you visuals that can help you use a productive imagination through the filter of perfect love. Symbolism is often used to assist in teaching concepts. It's applying what we know to something that we don't yet know or understand. We use pictures as an anchor, or we use a text as an anchor. Those are things to help us think and process information. In this course, we use the mountain and gates concept to mirror our spirit, soul, and body and how they connect to bring us into greater wholeness. So you're wanting to think your life is like a mountain. What's on and in your mountain radiates beyond you. So let's look at some mountain symbolism. Consider that your being functions like a mountain. Everyone sees what's on the outside first. I mean, we're visually motivated. You walk into a grocery store and you see people and how they're dressed. We make judgments first based on how they look on the outside. Then next, we often sense what's coming from within once we start talking to them, once we stand closer to them. From far away, you might not be able to sense it as much as you can see it. So we often see first and sense second, but a lot of that will depend on whether you are a sensor or a feeler. And some call what's coming from out of you as the aura. It's that feeling of, ooh, this person feels, there's something interesting, or wow, I really like that energy that's coming out of them, which leads to the next thing. It's really an energy field. You're sensing the energy field. We have an energy field that you can actually measure with a milliamp, or maybe it's a device that will measure milliamps, I believe. Our thoughts, intents, and actions come from what's in our heart. That's called our subconscious and our unconscious, which is in the soul gate. We'll get to that in a bit. Imagine a throne. You've got this beautiful mountain and you get to design your own mountain. And at the very top of this mountain is a throne. You are the king of your own mountain, with the throne sitting in a place where you can see everything. You can see the past, you can see the present, and you can see the future. This is where you rule and reign over your own life. You dictate what to accept and what not to accept, just like a king sets guidelines for a country. From this place, you determine what's allowed and what isn't allowed on your personal mountain. And here's another visual. Those of us who are from the Northwest or live in mountainous regions, you've seen these. These are called lookout towers. And my dad used to go and lookout towers all the time because he worked for the Forest Service. So I've been in these and seen them. They are fire lookout towers that were used to spot forest fires from miles away. And you could see the smoke first. Then they would radio into whichever Forest Service district was closest and say, I'm looking south and I can see a smoke rising up from such and such a mountain. And they could tell exactly what they were looking at. We don't have to do that anymore because we have upgraded technology. Smoke could be spotted from miles away. And so what we do is we consider life trials, circumstances, and other people's attitudes, and anything else that's coming towards you. We can see this from our lookout, from our throne at the top of the mountain. It's like those thoughts and things that keep coming at you. They're coming at us, but if we're sitting at the top of our mountain from our throne, where we govern our life, we can determine what happens with those things that come at us. Are we going to react in a positive or negative manner? So that's what these lookouts and the thrones are for, is we make a decision from that point what to do with things that come at us. So from your throne, just like this tower, you can see everything coming in your direction from every direction. So you're going to imagine your personal throne. What does it look like? Some people have something as gorgeous as that one I had, that example, but it's going to mean something to you. This throne is where you sit with the one who created all things. Science is actually proving that there is a supreme being, or that there is an intelligent creator. So I'm like, all right, in this position, you strategize together with source. Some call it source, some call him creator, some say God. Others have different names. So I'm not going to judge, and neither should we. what someone else calls creator. And when we sit and we strategize with source on how to manage everything in our personal life, past, present, and future, then we have a fuller, bigger picture of what is going on around us because we're at the top of the mountain. We're functioning in that place of perfect love. When stuff comes towards your mountain, you can see all of it from this position. This throne is your place of rest and peace, where zero negativity or negative frequencies, if you want to call them, fear, anxiety, frustration, and I call them their other cuddle buddies, they're not allowed when you're functioning from a position of rest and peace in perfect love. If anything that's on the fear thing comes in, we're functioning further on down the mountain from the soul. So once I learned to function from this position, everything changed. We are a three-part being: spirit, soul, and body. Our optimal function starts at the top of the mountain and goes through the filter of perfect love. Perfect love then sends the appropriate meaning on down the mountain. And our spirit works with perfect love as a team. So spirit, and you might be able to see my little cursor, these two work together at the top of the mountain, because the spirit, as you'll learn in the spirit lesson, is pure. Now, some people will say it's not, but really it's probably blocked because we've got so much junk between the soul and the spirit that the spirit can't really function at its optimal being because we're so much functioning out of the soul. The soul and body, the bottom two, work together as the second team, but at a lower level than perfect love and spirit. And so you can see that here's team one up here, love and spirit, and soul and body at the bottom. And optimal function is here at the top. When we function with heart-brain coherence, which is love and spirit, perfect love and spirit, through perfect love, our gateways come into alignment with how they were intended to function. When we are ruled by emotions, the highest level we can reach on the mountain is the soul. Look how far down the mountain is. So if you're functioning from soul, anything that's coming, you're not going to be able to have a good picture or a good visual because there are things that are blocking the view. So as we learn, I didn't realize this wasn't completely facing my mouth. Hopefully you can hear me better. So as we learn to function from the top rather than from the soul, then we're going to see and have a better picture of what's going on in our life a lot more. So our being was designed to function as one unit: spirit, soul, and body, in that order. And here are the gates. First, love is where we're seated with Creator. The spirit gates are next, and they are faith, hope, revelation, intuition, fear of God. You can change that word God with Creator. This is what I got from someone else. Prayer, reverence, and worship. Reverence and fear of God. So fear of God is literally reverence. As you'll see later, I combine reverence and fear of God. I should have actually changed it to fear of Creator because I have no idea how what people's religious beliefs are. It doesn't matter. Your soul gates are next: conscience, reason, your imagination, will, choice, emotions, and the mind. And then the body gates are your seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching. So what's on our mountain is reflected, which is our aura or our energy field, to those around us. And that's why I chose this picture, is because you can see this reflection of what's on the mountain in the water below. This is like what's coming outside of you. That's that energy that you can measure. And again, it's a pictorial view of what that looks like. In this course, I'm not going to lie, it's going to take practice and be consistent. I liken this to music students who are learning a piece of music for a recital. If you don't practice and you're not consistent with a certain way of doing it, it's going to take longer. The more consistent we are with anything, the sooner we're going to see results, which leads me to say there is really no easy button. There ain't. We live in a microwave society and we want everything now. But that's not how real life works. And that's why we get frustrated, is we want to see results faster than we actually do. But the biggest thing is to enjoy the journey. Materials for this class. I talk a lot about in my book, But Words Will Never Hurt Me. This book was originally written in 2009, added a new chapter and added a workbook in 2015. So the first link is the book. The second one is the supporting workbook. And the Transforming Mindsets is about how I came through that abusive marriage and also worked through losing my house to eminent domain. And if you've ever, I don't know if you know anyone who's ever lost a home. If you're not from America, eminent domain is where the government takes your home for like a highway or some greater public good. In my case, it was a highway. And it dislocated or relocated 3 families. And you're pretty much at the government's disposal when this happens, but we still have a choice in how we respond. This book, Transforming Mindsets, shows how I shifted mindsets so that I understood the bigger picture. And the last one is my healing music playlist, which is on YouTube. You click on this playlist, or you go over and all of these links are going to be below the video. And if you're looking for healing music that's not instrumental, that's not vocal, this is instrumental only, then I have about 40 hours of music that you can just put on repeat that are on the YouTube if you like to stream your music. And so from this point on, this class, I don't need to share screen anymore. See you in lesson 1, we hope. This class will be up on the website, Healing Frequencies Music. Today is May 20th, 2024, and it will be on the website, Healing Frequencies Music, under the shop button. And there will be a link to download all of the materials. You'll access all the videos, all directly from the PDFs that will be in Gumroad, which is the platform that I use to store all the files. The beauty about Gumroad is if you buy music from me, you can stream it directly from Gumroad. You can get anything that you buy in Gumroad. You can have an account and go in there and stream it and whatever. I love it. Anyway, I hope to see many of you taking this class, and we'll see you in the next video. And as I always say, have an absolutely bodacious day.